Hello, I'm Askar Sherlief and you're watching the news from Kazakhstan. Problems with electricity on the east of the country are getting worse. Despite what the authorities claim, the village Solnichny is almost completely frozen. Almost 1,500 people do not have access to heating, sewage and water for already 2.5 weeks, while it is minus 40 Celsius outside. More than 220 specialists are still involved in reclamation works on the heating main in the village Solnichny. Emergency and Correctional System Committee workers, convicts from local colonies are also involved. Piles of burning car tires can be seen all over the village as people warm up the frozen heating main. Weather conditions are still severe. Hard winds and blizzards are reported in the area. There is also a shortage of welding equipment. Local kindergarten and school are still closed. For now, 300 children have to attend the school in the neighboring village. The authorities promise to complete all the works before February 1st. The colony dormitory has been supplied with heaters. Today's inside temperature is about 20 degrees. 45 welders and plumbing specialists were sent here from other regional colonies. Fate similar to that of Solnichny could befall on Semey, a city on the east of Kazakhstan. Local coal reserves there will be enough only for another week. The regional administration didn't allocate funds for the purchase of fuel, and now the city council doesn't know where to find the necessary $1.5 million. The reserves of coal in Semey are almost depleted. Local municipal workers hope that the regional administration will help them out, as it promised to allocate $1.5 million for the purchase of fuel. The promise, however, never materialized. The regional administration has made this commitment. Every year it provides finances to create a fuel reserve. This year we received money from the national budget only, but not from the regional. The regional leadership doesn't comment on the refusal to fulfill its commitments. Meanwhile, the air temperature inside local apartments is dropping rapidly. Even the Red Crescent Hospital is urging their patients to wear warm clothes. I wear all the clothes I have. I wish I had a warm coat. Pavel Barabanov, an independent expert with 20 years of experience in the field, says that the situation with additional assets could have been avoided had the public utilities services determined the necessary quantity of needed fuel beforehand. The load and quantity of boilers was known, so it is very easy to calculate everything. But now there is a shortage of coal, which can result in the system collapse. Meanwhile, weather forecasters are predicting another temperature drop. During a recent meeting, deputies of the city council decided to use force methods in obtaining subsidies and already wrote an official letter to the Prime Minister. While people in Semey are waiting for answer from the cabinet head, a resident of Alga town in Akhtubinsk region raised a serious claim against the president of Uzbekistan and the leadership of Kazakh Internal Affairs Ministry. Tatyana Nazarova, the mother of a truck driver killed in Uzbekistan, demanded the defendants to pay $7 million for moral damages. The driver Ivan Nazarov was sentenced in Uzbekistan for attempted scrap metal theft and then died in prison. According to his mother, the results of the expertise point to a murder. Nevertheless, the Akhtubinsk police refused to instigate a criminal case, and now Nazarova insists that Uzbek authorities should bear responsibility. Another peculiar process is about to start in the Almaty region. The leadership of the correctional department has made an appeal to the court against its own employee. The head of an isolation ward, Yerbol Sariev, was fired from his position for creating special comfortable conditions for imprisoned criminals. Last year, Sariev was reinstated in his post, but soon was fired again for the second time.
On Thursday, the leadership of Kazakh Correctional System Committee fired the head of Almaty Isolation Ward Yerbol Sariev for already the second time. Previously, Sariev was reinstated in his position following the decision of the Almaty City Court. The committee's appeal was addressed to the Astana City Court, which subsequently turned it down.
The board didn't satisfy the action filed against Sariev. The petition of the Justice Ministry to the committee is fully satisfied.
A scandal linked to Yerbol Sariev's dismissal took place 3 years ago. Back then, the Correctional System Committee accused him of creating a VIP zone for influential prisoners.
According to unrecorded investigation data, prostitutes were brought to these cells for a certain fee.
3 years later, the former head of the colony sued the committee's leadership and unexpectedly won the case, receiving the position of the Almaty's isolation ward head. Yerbol Sariev says that the latest court decision is unfair and the 3-year-old footage consists of some clever editing to intentionally discredit him.
I want to note that this official investigation was done without my participation and with legislative violations. It was done by a professional cameraman and video editor. Hence, I completely deny what was there.
Back in 2007, Sarif linked his dismissal to a conflict with the head of the Correctional System Committee of the Almaty region, Amirkul Kulmakhanov. Since then, the leaderships of both regional and national committees have changed. Nevertheless, the current process proved that Sarif's problems are far from over. He, however, is not going to give up and plans to take the matter to the Supreme Court.
A hearing without its main participant was held in Saryarka District Court as Mukhtar Jakishev suffered another hypertensive crisis. On Thursday, the former head of Kazatomprom couldn't even leave his cell in the isolation ward of the National Security Committee.
According to Jakishev's attorney Nurlan Beysekeyev, Judge Nurjan Joltazbekov asked those involved in the process to continue the trial without the defendant. Meanwhile, according to some information, there were plans to bring Jakishev to the hearing today, but due to his health problems, the defendant couldn't leave the cell. The former head of Kazatomprom has submitted a written notification to the court stating that due to his health status, he cannot attend hearings. After the court announced the trial's continuation despite Jakishev's appeals, attorney Nurlan Beysekeyev requested the disqualification of the judge. I want you to know that this disqualification motion should be reviewed in accordance with legal procedures and not as it was done with the motion on December 23rd, when the judge Semenova reviewed it too late and then failed to notify the trial participants.